Welcome to Finance Revealed. Watch the complete video to discover new market secrets. Subscribe now.
Bitcoin right now is at 50.83%.
In general, I'm a supporter of Bitcoin, the idea of cryptocurrency in general. But as I've said publicly, we do need to watch out for crypto taking, especially Bitcoin, using proof of work to maybe use energy that's maybe a bit too much, not necessarily good for the environment.
So are we going to go through a time where we get total financial repression, where bond yields stay negative for an extended period? Possibly.
A market bull is not sounding the all clear.
The first thing we'll say is if the last 3 days haven't proven whether you're a stock investor or a bond investor, there's never going to be a time that proves it. Whether you're thinking about protecting the downside or trying to control your emotions in some of these stocks that have run a long way and look like they could run further to prevent FOMO.
Why do we see so much durable resistance at 50% of the 52-week highs on so many of these coins? Bitcoin right now is at 50.83% off of its 52-week high. Why is there so much resistance?
I don't know, humans are weird, right? It's behavioral. You know, I want to buy it because it's down 50% to, oh my God, it's down 50%, I need to sell it. And the buyers meet the sellers. It's kind of, you know, that's what we are. I mean, I use technical analysis because it's the behavior of crowds. And Fibonacci ratios, they work to, 50% is a Fibonacci number. So all of this stuff kind of works. I don't know whether the crypto market has another leg lower before it recovers. You know, that's Tom DeMark's thinking that I've been talking to. He thinks there's another sharp sell-off. My personal view is I don't think there is. But who am I to question Tom? He's pretty good at this stuff. But it all matters. What matters is your time horizon. You know, if your time horizon is 5 years and you're expecting a 10x or 20x, then a 50% pullback is well within a one standard deviation normality. And once you understand that, you stop fretting about all of this stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of time horizons, our first question comes to us from Tom, one of our regular viewers at Real Vision Daily Briefing, and he's looking at this from a maximum time frame. The question is, Raoul, do you ever think we will break the multi-year downtrend in bond yields meaningfully and sustainably ever in our lifetime?
My actual hunch is no. My actual hunch is we won't. Because as leverage keeps building, it pushes bond yields down because rates can't go up as much. So it changes the natural order. Technology is hugely deflationary and it's only accelerating. So are we going to go through a time where we get total financial repression, where bond yields stay negative for an extended period? Possibly. And not in real terms, in nominal terms too. And I think we've seen that many times in the past when you go back long enough in time. There are whole periods of time you can do this. So no, I'm not entirely sure with the structure of global society, technology, globalization, and the debt burden that this can change. So unless they manage to completely devalue the purchasing power of fiat currency to such an extent that you've basically eradicated the debt, then could you see a normalization? Possibly, but how are you going to generate long-term inflation with this secular setup? So I don't see it, but could be wrong.
Interesting. Here's one that comes to us, a question from Ralph Humphrey. Does Raoul have any view on China's clampdown of Chinese tech?
We have seen this periodically. The Chinese don't seem to like to have people who build monopolies or who have power. Now, we don't know why. We see it in Russia too, and we see it in many other authoritarian states. Usually it's that somebody has crossed the state, whether they've been taking money out of the country or they have not given the state access to the data that they would like, or they've upset somebody at a dinner party. We don't know. That's the authoritarian way. And that's basically the definition of authoritarianism. So I think it's a feature of Chinese society, and it makes it hard for foreigners to pour capital into China because a business can evaporate overnight. And Russia has been the lead example of that. Many people won't invest in Russia because if a business crosses Putin the wrong way, he will basically destroy it and change the ownership hands. There are some businesses that are investable in those countries, and you can make a lot of money from doing it. But it just adds a different layer of risk, and you need to be compensated for the reward with it. Right now, you're not being compensated in China. I mean, the Shanghai Composite's up 2% of the year, one of the worst performing markets for this reason. But I'm looking at Russia, on the other hand. It's got the benefit of commodities behind it. It's in line with everything else at about up 16%. So, it depends.
Yeah. I'll also connect the dots between two things you said about Facebook and Google and then Chinese tech. I think you're absolutely right. Your second point, it's about the data. I think there's definitely a data component behind this. The Chinese government is very sophisticated in their understanding of the power of data, the power that data can bring to the state. And I think that there's something going on there that we're not yet 100% clear.
Yeah, and TikTok has taken the world by storm. It is a data gathering machine, and the US banned it and then didn't. ByteDance are now building out a whole platform for other people to use their data because it's the best AI on earth, almost. It's incredibly addictive, TikTok. And everybody else will use it, and the state will gather data. But let's be fair in this discussion. Google owns more data on Earth than any other entity, about more people on Earth than any other entity in all history. Now, if you think the US does not think of Google as a sovereign protectorate, you're fooling yourself. If you don't think that Google has deep links with the US government with their data, you are kidding yourself. They're both the same thing. One is dressed up as fluffy and the other's dressed up as mean. They're both exactly the same.
What was that relationship here? Very interesting. Very interesting points. Another question comes to us from DD, shifting gears. Do you think there will be another stimulus check or extended unemployment past September due to the Delta variant? News out, I believe, last night that Los Angeles was going into more mask mandates.
I don't know. It depends. It's a balance between the vaccination and the rise of the Delta variant and whether it's needed, enough people are impacted or not. I really don't know. Have to keep our eye on it. I've talked about before, the aftershocks of something tend to become less important as they go. So the first aftershock, which is the Delta variant, is making everybody very nervous. The second aftershock will be like a Brazil variant, a new one. People get less nervous again as more people get vaccinated, and we understand that hospitalizations aren't going to go up and the death rate's not going to go up as much. So I don't know. It's going to be a factor in the equation of this slowdown that I think is coming. Again, I'm not calling a recession or anything. I'm just calling it, just growth is going to slow a bit more than people expect. It'll be part of that too.
Cryptocurrency Kraken, cryptocurrency trading platform, crypto tips, cryptocurrency basics, cryptocurrency Dogecoin, cryptocurrency how it works, cryptocurrency